one more thing that I just want to mention, and it's kind of been playing on me, and I'm not sure it makes all sense, but my abuser, Anthony, reached out and spoke with my ex-husband, and because of my last name, it's unique enough, it wasn't hard to find him. To the point that my ex-husband called me, I don't know if it was the night of or the next night after I had turned myself in, and he had said that he was calling me. He wasn't in town. I had not spoke to him since we got divorced. And when I divorced him, he was a narcissist also, not nearly as bad as the one that I ended up finding, but, and had to get a no contact order in place because he was becoming very toxic. But, he respected the limits, and I never heard from him. I never thought or expected to hear from him again. Well, when this all went down, Anthony reached out to him, which I believe woulda, shoulda, coulda been a violation of the no contact order, because why did he reach out to my ex-husband? There's no reason for him to call him. But my ex-husband was upset enough that he called me and said he was worried about my safety. And when I asked my ex-husband what it was that Anthony had said, he wouldn't tell me. And still hasn't. And said that, I'm sure in the breakup with him, he went around and smeared my name and told everybody bad stuff, so they didn't like me. So he was calling me when he was on the road, and he said, when I'm home, you can't come up to me, you can't talk to me, you can't call me back, you can't text me back, and just a complete and utter, it's the control thing, because that's what narcissists like, is the control. And the more I look back on that situation, and I was asking him, what did Anthony say to him to make him fear for my safety, and he wouldn't tell me. He's even abusing me, because if the same were true with me, and one of Jeremy's ex had reached out to me and I was worried enough to call him, I would absolutely share every reason or every part of that conversation with that person to help. And I never got that. I still don't have that. I don't know what was said during the conversation. I did get to see during that conversation, or I don't know if got to see, but got reminded that Jeremy is a narcissist, and to see how his mind works. Because with narcissists, I believe in time, what happens is they tell themselves lies enough that they actually believe it, and then that becomes the truth to them. You can't tell them any different, because Jeremy, through the conversation that we had, was reflecting back on a few things from our marriage, and it wasn't the way I remembered it. It was a twisted version that made him look better, but it wasn't the way I remembered it. And so, it really bothers me that I got that phone call from him, and I haven't heard back from him since. He hasn't checked on me. He hasn't shared any more of that conversation, and that's control, and that's what narcissists do. And I did figure out in the process of divorcing Jeremy, because I loved him so much, that through that relationship is where I was able to reflect back and connect what's the common denominator between my children's father, who is a narcissist, and Jeremy, and the common denominator was me. So what was in me that made me want to be with a narcissist, and why does it feel so comfortable so quick? And I was able to connect that my mother is one. And through gaining that information, I then started studying narcissistic parenting styles, and that brought a lot of understanding and peace to things that had happened to me growing up. And for me, it was the reason why I was with Jeremy. And it was because there was still a lesson there that I needed to learn, and that God has great things that he's going to trust me with. And he knew that if I don't figure this out, it's going to cause problems later. And I knew when I met Anthony that he was a narcissist. I knew that, and I thought because I'd been through this and I had done all this research and education and was in the know, I would be able to contain it now know that is not true. You cannot underestimate a narcissist, especially a psychopath narcissist. So I just wanted to share those thoughts with you because it still bothers me that my ex reached out to me and has still chosen not to share anything, and that's not the way I believe most people would handle this situation. I would reach out and ask, is there anything I need to do? Do you want me to call the police? I mean, that would be what would be normal, or what I would label normal as a response, especially if you're really scared for somebody's safety. So I just wanted to share that in my 40 days and 40 nights of insight, and hope that brings some more clarity to this story.